If more of you supported the show, I'd be less sick of podcasts.
The blah blah.
Sending out good vibes.
The blah blah.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
The blah blah.
Good vibes. Good vibes.
108 breaths of deep gratitude and prayers for guidance and protection. And put on a didgeridoo and shamanic drumming track. Shivers or vibrations and stuff like that.
To a certain point, there will be no repercussions if you do say, hey, raise my hand. I need to take a knee because I'm stressed. I'm tired. I need to step back for a second, get myself together.
Right.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the Grimerica show. We are going to be chatting with Courtney Kittrell a little bit later about her book, Unapologetically Favoured, and leadership and failure and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Before we get there, though, we're going to have a nice little intro here. And we got everybody's favorite podcaster, everybody's favorite interviewer, Unapologetically Graham Dunlop. How's it going, buddy?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
good. How you doing?
Unapologetically Graham. Good. Cold as fuck. This is a problem.
Yeah, this is a fun chat with Courtney. Little out of our wheelhouse, but it was good. A lot about leadership and empowering people and challenges of being a lesbian in the military, a black lesbian in the military. It was
Black lesbian
she
in the
was,
military.
She was great, though. I mean,
Oh, yeah, she was
she's
a boss.
been promoted and all. Like the book was really good, actually. It was very good. I was tearing up in a couple spots.
You're always tearing up.
Yeah.
No teary-eyed Graham Dunlop. Unapologetically teary-eyed. That was a fun chat. No, I've been good. Cold.
Yeah,
We're
this
in
is a
midst
cold
of
snap.
snap.
It's a little bit colder than normal. Normal cold snap, we get like a week or two of cold in Calgary. This is cold.
Last year we got 3 bursts of it.
Yeah, but it wasn't this bad. This is bad. Like this is everybody's. This is
Feels like
affecting vehicles and people can't.
my truck barely started.
People aren't going to work. Schools are closed. Like it's getting that bad.
School is closed. Well, I just think that's a sign of us slowly getting too soft for Mother Nature. I mean, that's a sign when we can't even go to school because it's minus 30 out.
Yeah.
What are we going to do when there's no power for 2 weeks?
Die.
Yeah.
What are we going to do when it gets into the little ice age here? We're going to go
gonna-
back into the ice age.
It's brutal.
It's getting
colder. It's cold. It is fucking cold. They're saying it's the coldest in 20 or 16 years. The coldest day on record in 16 years.
Wow.
Or something along those lines.
Wow. Yeah, it was.
Might have been this day. Cold as this day.
Yeah. Well, you know what's weird is it doesn't even warm up during the day. Like when being in Vancouver,
It warmed up to like minus 29
it's cold
today.
in the morning. It warms up, right? Yesterday, it was getting colder. Like the day would start at minus 28 in the morning and then get to minus 30 by the
Warmed
time
up to
work's
minus
done.
29 today.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yep.
And then it went back down.
Yeah.
I think now it's down around 33 or something.
Yeah, it'll end soon. It'll be up above zero
I think by
next
next
week. Early next week. Monday, it already gets really warm. It'll increase by 30 degrees right off the bat.
Extreme cold warning.
Yeah.
Feels like minus 39
For who?
for you.
No, for me it feels like minus 29.
That's what it actually is.
Minus 19 then.
Also feels warmer for you.
Well, what if you do your Wim Hof breathing before you go out?
I don't know. It's
Right?
been fucking cold, not working for me.
Right?
Wim Hof, and I
you
tried
haven't
that.
even tried. You didn't try it.
I
Did
tried
you?
when I was sitting on that crane, not moving in that cold ass mall. Tried Wim Hof and it didn't work. I need to practice more, I suppose. Anyway, it's cold. I'm sick of it. Luckily, I'll be going down to Texas for a little weekend getaway.
All right. Say hi to the Snake Bros.
I'm going to go stay with the Snake Bros. Mrs. Snake Bro was tweeted today to see what kind of food I like to eat while I'm there, because apparently they're quite good cooks.
Do they tweet in public? Like the public
Yeah, this is
tweet
just
as well?
boom, yeah, public.
Oh my God.
I was
really?
like, you make me something Texas, and I'll eat whatever the fuck.
Crawfish.
Yeah, so I'm looking for that. I will be in the 10 by 10 by 10 tangent cube of science. And
What is that? The studio?
That's what they call their studio. There.
Nice.
So it'll be a little Grimerica on the road.
Oh, we're in the igloo. You're going to be from the igloo to the...
Yeah, I think it's going to be
Cube of
like a
science?
60-degree temperature swing. Celsius.
Yeah.
What's 60 Celsius in Fahrenheit would be like?
90. Or no?
No, it'd be like
yeah.
150. It's like 150 degree Fahrenheit temperature swing.
No, you're off. Something's wrong.
What's like a rough calculation is times.
Yeah, I know. Times 2 plus 32, right? Or something.
So 60, 120, call it 100 plus 30. So it's like 132 degree temperature swing.
No, it can't be though, dude. You're not doing it properly because you can't just say 60 degrees and then do that multiply.
Hey Siri, what's 60 degrees
it's
Celsius
not
and Fahrenheit?
No, that's not the way you do it.
60 degrees Celsius is 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, but that's not the temperature swing. It doesn't even get to 140. You can't do it that way.
Well,
It's not 140 and it's not 100.
No, it's going to be like
It's not 100
today,
in Texas.
It was from minus 40 to plus 22.
Yeah, but that's 60 degrees Celsius already. So you
Yeah.
can't just go,
So
what
it's
is that in
140
Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
No, I don't think that works like
I don't
that.
think it is like that, no, because you're right. Because you okay? You having a heart attack?
I'm dizzy.
I have my CPR. So, should we get a defib in here? Do we have to? Could I get sued if you had a heart attack because the business doesn't have a defib?
I don't think so.
I just burned this fucker down anyway and disappeared in the night.
Go to the Snake Bros.
Yeah.
Arrive in Texas a week early.
What was I checking?
The Fahrenheit and Celsius thing. You're way off.
Well, 22 is basically 73. We'll call it 73. So what's minus?
It's only
Minus
like
40 is minus 40.
Yeah, so
So it's 110.
no, it's 40. I don't know. I guess it's just too much. What is the temperature
It's come
in
off the rails.
Celsius there?
Plus 22.
22. Okay, 22. Yeah.
To minus 37 or 40 or whatever the fuck it
Yeah.
is here. Feels like, because we're not counting the feels like.
No, you can't count that.
Can't count that.
Everybody counts it now, though. It's not fair.
Well, yeah, everyone counts it because it's a thing. You say it's not a thing. Everyone else
It's a
says
thing. It's just a subjective thing. Tell Wim Hof it feels like minus 39 out there. He'll laugh in your face. He doesn't even feel the cold.
Did you see the meme that's like, it's Wim Hof and he's like, Chuck Norris? Never heard of him.
Yeah, I like that.
Anyway, what do you got?
Well, what was the jingle about? Is that a new jingle? Or?
No, that's just the regular old
Are you going to the chats or something?
That's the old
or what?
Leopardy jingle.
Oh, that's right.
Let's go to, I'm playing with a new jingle board. This is the first time using it. It was like $70. Okay, let's go with, I don't have what was I going to do? I was going to do,
A chat thing, or we have a P.O. box. We have a gift from the P.O. box to open. I've got a new segment to talk about.
a new
I'm
segment.
going to kick it off. Yeah. We don't have any jingles yet for it, but we're open to receiving some. It'd be pretty easy to make a jingle for this segment.
You think so?
Yeah.
Have you ever made a jingle?
Nope.
All right, let's start with this.
Get out a pen and paper and write this down, or a pencil. Why don't you send some physical mail to the Grimerica show at P.O. Box 16033, next line, 100-815, comma, 17th Avenue, SW, next line, Calgary, Alberta, next line, Canada, next line, T2T space 5H7. That's the P.O. Box. Why don't you send Aaron some dirty socks? Cause he's got a dirty sock fetish.
So I'll start with this.
Okay.
I have the note from the nice batch of Morrissey I was sent from our buddy Dave B. out on Vancouver Island. Dear Grimerica, loved the show. Loved the Dick Con episode. Started microdosing for PTSD thanks to you guys. Just a quick shout out to the Chippewa and Ojibwe of Northern Ontario. Of course, yours truly is one of said Ojibwe from Northern Ontario. Pow! And I have been enjoying some of that lovely Morrissey sativa. What do we got here? This is from Meltwater Pulse 1B. Dear Darren and Graham, I am pleased to have finally gotten off my ass to support the show. Please find and close some Chinese poetry for Graham and some not very valuable gold. For Darren, a book of fables to share with his kids, some ganja that I grew myself. Oh, nice. And a pair of quite new wool blend socks. Also, there are some treasures from the Pacific Ocean to clutter up the studio and some really tasty 1971 live Grateful Dead. As I don't use banks, I am sending you cash instead of supporting online. The Skrill is in the card with the California poppy. You should find $108, $100 in American Fetty that you can use for gas at CAC, and 8 old Soviet rubles in honor of the boys in the chats who called me a commie because I am from California. You know what? I just finished reading the brothers
Karamazov or whatever?
Karamazov, where they're talking about rubles all the time. So I love the fact that we'll have some rubles in here. I hope this is sufficient for black budget access and my name in green on the Discord. You got it, buddy. Good time to get in the black budget, too. F word just finished in there. Manifestos in there.
Wow, yeah, good.
Thanks for all the hard work and love that you put into the show. I hope that one day enough of us will support for you to quit your day jobs and research, entertain, /educate us full time. Good vibes from Redwood Country. Meltwater Pulse 1B. All right, let's pile into our bag of goodies.
And just so you know,
Open that.
I do have a follow up to the synchro I read from the chats as well.
Was there nothing in there?
I think it's just packing.
That's probably the ganja in there then.
Ooh, nice. Couple Cold Mountain and Aesop's Fables. Grateful Dead.
A Grateful Dead, a double disc. Look at how colorful it is.
That's not going to be open tonight. We'll open that some other time. It's going to be really hard to get that tin open. Ooh. Well, thanks.
It's a quadruple disc.
Everybody can find that P.O. box in 16033. And it's at Grimerica.ca/contact.
Grimerica.ca/contact.
It's also in the show notes as well on every episode.
I can smell it right through the tin.
Yeah.
That's the smell of a good ganja.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? Oh, there's a bunch of trinkets in there too, though.
Nice.
For the studio.
Well, we'll open up some other time. We can't.
Ooh, another one with 100 poems.
Nice.
So, randomly open it. Actually, you know what? Let's go with number 42. Oh, look at this. This one's circled. Should I go with it? I was heading for 42, but this one was circled. What do you choose?
Choose the one that was circled.
44. Story on story of wonderful hills and streams, their blue-green haze locked in clouds. Mists brush my thin cap with moisture. Dew wets my coat of plaited straw. On my feet I wear pilgrim sandals. My hand holds a stick of old rattan. Though I look down again on the dusty world, what is this land of dreams to me?
Nice.
Then we have this Aesop book, 5 Centuries of Illustrated Fables. This is a great little book to read with the kids.
Yeah.
Some of them are probably still a little scary. Excellent.
Be good for them. Maybe
Thanks,
when they get back home from taking the day off school because it's too cold.
Well, I don't even know. We'll see if they have school tomorrow.
They won't. It's not getting any warmer tomorrow.
Doesn't look like it, does it? Somebody here?
Yeah.
That's strange. Oh, that's what rubles look like.
Thanks for the rubles.
Cool. Who do you suppose is here? Michael? 1961. That's cool shit.
Thanks.
And a greenback, is that what you call that? Anyway, thank you very much, sirs. We love it. We'll display the trinkets proudly. What do you want to go to next?
I want to do the synchro jingle because I want to just do a little sequel, part 2 to this one from the chats.
I'm a rambling gram with synchronicities all over the web. And Aaron is skeptical about everyone and don't believe it yet.
So do you remember that one I read from Pasca Pokuri about his wife had left him and he was
Hoop slinger.
and he ended up finding this woman that knew his wife and actually had some of his ex-wife had some of her clothes because she was the one that was in stories as Crazy Becky who got shit-faced and stripped a lot.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember Crazy Becky. Yeah.
So I didn't catch this. Oh, geez, was this a while ago? Yeah. Oh, it was on the scene. I didn't even catch the second. So at one point, this is the second part to it. Talking of parties where we would have met, she pulled up a picture, the only picture she pulled up, from a bonfire on October 10th, 2011. I was fucking there. Early on, I walked off with a girl who became my wife to smoke some bowls and get snacks from the grocery store and never went back to the fire. We ended up hooking up and set my life I now have in motion. TLDR.
TLDR,
one
what's
of the
that?
first, I think it's Too Long Don't Read or something like that, or Too Long Didn't Read, or Too Long.
Okay. I don't know what that means either.
One of the first people I meet after divorce from almost 8-year relationship shows me a photo of what turned out to be an extremely important moment in my life, used as an anniversary by us for years. He says, also met a medium later on in the afternoon, took a few hours of mental health work talk and divorce talk to bring the medium talk out. Wow. That's crazy. Thanks for sharing that with us, Poop Slinger. Check out the chats. There's a bunch of channels in the chats. Grimerica.ca/chats or go to the show notes. This is from the Synchro channel, but there's also like chip reports and UFO stuff in there, spiritual science. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Fantastic. And there's also Congress, which is where everybody just chit-chats, the main channel. And you can get a hold of Darren and I in there usually as well.
Yeah, that's if you want to track us down, that would be the place to go, 100%.
But I also have an email, graham@grimerica.com, for stories and synchros and feedback and all kinds of stuff.
For spam and gram and...
Stop on by, 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 stop on by. Head on over to the Grimerica chats.
The chats. Okay, let's go. I'm going to go to a random chat room here.
Okay.
And see what we got. I'll stay away from the...
Yeah, I was just in the synchro one there. So.
No, stay away. Let's go to trip report one. Mm-hmm. There's no actual trip reports in here. It's just a bunch of people yapping.
Yeah.
This is a problem with the chat.
You gotta set it up first. Let's move on to my new segment. I'll talk about that.
How about politics? Same thing. Just a bunch of links. Okay, you go ahead.
Keep the politics in the politics channel too.
What kind of jingle can I use for your new segment?
Like deep state, scary, secret, like whispering.
Ooh, here we go.
Like,
Put on your conspiracy hat.
no, not even close. No, that should be for you in Texas when you go down there.
No good. I guess good.
No.
And now another edition of the Grimerican Goodies by the people.
Or is it a rant? Can we call it a rant?
No, not at all. That's good. That's fine. Well,
we have we have a rant jingle.
That's okay.
That we never get to play.
Good. So as you know, I've been keeping a list of projects and operations, secret projects and operations. And it's kind of appropriate that, Courtney Kittrell is in the military, and she's talked about this, and this is the kickoff to the new segment. We were going to do black budgets on this. I was always been telling Darren over the last years, I want to read out these projects or talk about these secret projects.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what was it going to be?
Well, it's going to be like
let's
project, operation project.
Operation project.
Yeah.
Project.
So I've got a long list.
It sounds like a board game.
I've got a long list of them. So I'm going to kick it off tonight. Some of them are going to be pretty, and this one ends up being very appropriate to the timing. So it's Operation Merlin.
I'm going to put these wool socks on right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
My feet are cold.
They're dirty though. Somebody send you really dirty socks in the P.O. box.
They could probably use a wash. Not going to lie.
This is a fairly recent one. Operation Merlin was a United States covert operation under the Clinton administration to provide Iran with a flawed design for a component of a nuclear weapon. Ostensibly nuclear. You got to. I can't pronounce it properly. Nuclear.
I know.
Nuclear?
It's funny because I was actually doing the audiobook last night.
I know. I can't. I had to fucking say it like 10 times.
You're there like over and over. You're like nuclear, nuclear,
Nuclear. Right.
It took you about 3 minutes, but you got it. Nuclear.
So, to provide Iran with a flawed design for a component of a nuclear weapon, ostensibly in order to delay the alleged Iranian nuclear weapons program, or to frame Iran. In his book, State of War, author and intelligence correspondent for the New York Times, James Risen, relates that the CIA chose a defected Russian nuclear scientist to provide deliberately flawed nuclear warhead blueprints to Iranian officials in February 2000. According to the CIA documents, the search for a suitable Russian emigre with an engineering background in nuclear physics and production began in September 96. The Russian emigre selected was the first contacted by the CIA in August 94. After receiving a monthly salary of $5,000 US plus travel expenses in 97 and 98, which was raised to $6,000 in 99, the weapon component selected was based on the Russian TBA 480 fire set. That's a high voltage automatic block, which was modified in an attempt to make it fatally flawed. The CIA estimated the TBA 480 fire set, which had been developed at Arzamaz 16, was 20 years more advanced than anything required to get a first-generation nuclear weapon operational. After the delivery of the designs to Iran on March 3, 2000, the CIA extended the employment of the Russian emigre to at least March 2003, with the intention of conveying the flawed plans to another country suspected of interest in developing nuclear weapons. Anyways, Risen wrote this book that President Clinton had approved the operation, that Bush administration later endorsed the plan. Earlier publications of details of Operation Merlin by the New York Times in 2003 was prevented by the intervention of National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice with the New York Times. So the backfire portion of this, Operation Merlin backfired when the CIA's Russian contact messenger noticed flaws in the schematics and told the Iranian nuclear scientist. Instead of crippling Iran's nuclear program, the book alleges Operation Merlin may have accelerated it by providing useful information. Once the flaws were identified, the plans could be compared with other sources, such as those presumed to have been provided by the Iranians by A.Q. Khan. Huh.
A.Q. Khan.
Oh, wow. In late 2010, indictment of a former CIA officer. In late 2010, former CIA officer Jeffrey Alexander Sterling was indicted for allegedly being the source of some of the information in Risen's book and was convicted of espionage in January 2015.
Espionage?
Yeah. He was convicted and sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. Wow, there you have it. So that's the first one, Operation Merlin. Fairly recent one.
Operation Merlin. Squirrel and Merlin. There you have it. Let's go with, what do we got?
Bingo, bango, social media jingle. Don't forget to rate, comment, and or subscribe to the Grimerica
newsletter.
Bingo, bango, social media jingle.
Okay, we'll go to Facebook page first from Kat Carroll. Thank you, Graham, for your beautiful voice reading a CE5 handbook.
What? No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
100%.
Thank you.
Skip all that. Skip all that. There we go. You had 5 minutes of fame. What message would you share? Bradley Knight. Death is perfectly safe. Fear nothing. Fear nothing. Live free. Die hard. A Christmas movie reference and a badass Ram Dass quote. From Brandy Bledsoe, monthly supporter, always kicks in her $20 a month.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brandy. She's also a top fan on the Facebook page.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I don't have an answer for this, but thank you for the contemplation. I'll see what DeForest has to say when I take my dog for a walk later. From Lewis Proud. I would use my 5 minutes of fame to argue that I deserve an additional 10 minutes of fame. From Aaron Archer, lynch every single politician there is and do away with the government.
Ooh.
From Lance Lefebvre, push political reform. From top fan Joseph Sim, do a massive bong rip, wave, leave the stage. Justin Edelman, listen to Grimerica. Matt H. and the Fed. Nikki Killen, you can shove your granny off a bus. Drew Burleson, Bud's legal. Fuck it. Well, I'm not going to say all that. That was close. Almost got me. I'll go to the YouTubes quick too, just because it's always fun.
Where was that? Facebook?
That was Facebook. Yeah. Okay. We'll go to the YouTubes comments. Fascinating talk with Michael Freely. I admire you. Thanks. Number 139. Grimerica talks cancer-killing cannabis oil with Rick Simpson.
Ooh, that was an old one.
From Acid Bath 32, full-spectrum oils and cannabis actually coat your brain cells and perform the neurotoxicity and protect from the neurotoxicity of other chemicals in the environment and other drugs you might be taking.
Wow.
On Joseph Early on Chris Knowles. I absolutely love Chris Knowles and have bought his new book, but I'm consistently a little baffled by his friendships with people like Gordon White, who we're also friends with.
Yep.
Appearing on his show and whatnot, while also expressing his thoughts about staying away from magic at the end of this show. If he is so against magic, why is he good friends with such popular chaos magicians and appearing on shows all about magic?
Well, because he's talking about his personal practice. He can talk about it, and I'm sure he's super interested about it. He's very knowledgeable about it. Right? There's a difference between that and sitting down and performing or practicing. Right?
Yeah, true. Yeah. We'll go to the vaccine debate show, which is still popping off every once in a while. I'm surprised that's still around, actually. From Josh Schro. So I'm a proud father of 3 unvaxxed kids. I've been watching this debate for many years as my rights here in California have eroded as my kids hit school age. Joy. And I have to say that the truth is starting to spread in a really great way. Comments on videos regarding vaccines are less and less pro-vaccine and more pro-informed consent, aka anti-vax. It's quite startling and highly encouraging. And another one here. So this is on number 293 with C.S. Joseph. Wow, Chris blew my mind. I relate to Darren, I think. I didn't catch what type he is, especially when he was talking about learning with tools and stuff. What is versus what if? My philosophy with learning has always been trial and error. Even if I think trying it a certain way will have a bad outcome, I will still try it and almost always learn something from it. A friend just introduced me to you guys today, and I'm already 4 hours deep. Love you guys. Shout out to Sophie.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's probably
that's good.
Here we go. If Brian says it's spicy, then it's spicy. Spicy is Frank Herbert's Dune. The spice. It extends life and enables space travel.
Thanks for the comments, everybody. Appreciate it.
Bingo bango.
I got one quote here. You want to do a quick quote jingle, or do we have to?
Oh, no,
it's not the UFO quotes.
One. There's so many quotes now. Now there is a jingle. Just bear with me. I'm still.
Oh, by the way, if people do have projects and operations that they want to talk about on the show, send me a list.
I've been
operations. Accumulating one. Yeah, there's quite a few already.
Okay.
I'm probably good for a year of this segment.
It's the profound quote of the week.
I'd like to know. You might be able to guess this one, Darren. Oh, you forgot to update the
Epic
jingle
fail.
for it every time. Okay. Who said this? It's very appropriate to what's going on now, although it's probably from a while ago. But I happen to believe that Henry Kissinger was one of the most destructive secretaries of state in the modern history of this country. I am proud to say that Henry Kissinger is not my friend. I will not take advice from Henry Kissinger. And in fact, Kissinger's actions in Cambodia when the United States bombed that country, overthrew Prince Sihanouk, created the instability for Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge to come in, who then butchered some 3 million innocent people, was one of the worst genocides in the history of the world. So count me in as somebody who will not be listening to Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, fuck Henry Kissinger. I'll agree with that. You know, I'm not too much to say fuck too many people, but that guy is not a good person. He's messed it up for a while.
I'll give you a hint if you can't guess it.
Give me a hint.
He's in the current political climate.
Ron Paul.
No. No, like more prevalent.
Donald Trump.
No. Good, close. Getting warmer.
Bill Clinton.
No.
George Bush.
No, he's
Hillary
running
Clinton.
for president. Those people are all friends with Henry. What are
Andrew
you doing
Yang.
naming all them? Close. Been around a little longer.
Bernie Sanders. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Are you going to wear this flower bandana?
No, thanks.
I can pull it off, probably. A little small. Ah.
That's not good for radio. Oh, yeah, you're going to have crap on your head now.
What kind of crap? Whatever was in that.
Yeah.
Whatever meltwater poisoned us with. He's like, fuck you, alt-right bastards.
Nobody's all right around here, Darren.
No. I like this little rock.
All right, we should end this thing because it's not good radio just looking at
If
things.
that's not a evidence for molten
something
or something, you know.
Okay.
Well, we got to get bagged for money.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Well,
So,
we
of
do
course,
need to keep the lights on, keep the heat on.
Keep the heat on. It's cold as a motherfucker.
The heat is on full and it's still cold in
So
here.
heat's on full, still cold. Grimerica.ca/support. Help us keep things chugging along. If you don't mind, we love you. We love you for it. We honestly can't do this without you. The support rate has slowed down over the last few months. We could use a bunch of new monthlies, pick up the people that drop off here and there. Of course,
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt to check your subscription once in a while.
Yeah, cancel the cable and sign up to all your favorite podcasts.
That's right. Grimerica.ca/support. If you can today, when you can, do a one-time donation. Sign up for a monthly on Stripe, Patreon, or PayPal, and we will love you for it. Of course, you get access to the Black Budget, which has got a couple books that we narrated in there. F-Word, Understanding the F-Word, American
Very
Fascism
interesting, yeah.
is a great word. Dave McGowan's book, which will be on sale on Audible right away as well. I sent all that over to her last week.
Awesome.
We've also got, what was the one I did? That you just did again. The Manifesto, the Unabomber Manifesto, Industrial Society and Its Future. Of course, it's in the Black Budget in 4 episodes, and there's a bunch of other stuff in there as well. Looks like we'll be dumping some more content in there right away. So sign up. You get access to that Black Budget. You get some special colors in the chats. Grimerica.ca/chats to get over there today. Grimerica.ca/support to support the show. Of course, contact at thecabin.com. As I record this today, we did have someone back out of a pull-out spot for $450. That is available right now for the David Matheson event. It's up for resale for the David Matheson event in April 16th to 19th, which we are circling around now and get ready to pull the trigger on. It's going to be a fantastic time. And there is only 10 spots left for the event in September 21st to 26th, which is contact at thecabin.com/Carlson. If you go to contact at thecabin.com, you'll see the link for the Scablands up in the top right corner.
There's events or something like that, or
So head over to there. There's 10 spots left. As I record this, I don't expect them to last more than a couple weeks. Interest is high. That event will be sold out, and it doesn't look like we have the ability to add any more events. So hammer that home while you can. Grimerica.ca/support. Contact at thecabin.com. All that beautiful stuff. Really, you do need to sign up for monthly if you are getting some value from the show. We're creeping up. We're like 2 episodes away from 400 episodes for free.
Oh, we might do a call-in show.
Interviews
just
for
with
free.
us. Right?
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure before I start announcing that, I just want to make sure that phone's working.
Okay. Yep.
So by next week, we'll be able to start announcing that. I'll make sure that works. We'll be good to go. So that's not a total train wreck like the Fandango turned out to be. Mind you, we could do it on speaker more handily and when it's just us and we don't have people on Skype.
Yeah.
That third thing is what I have to figure out, which I think I have the power to do. Now that we got your phone with the jack in it, we'll try that out. We have 400 shows in the back catalog, 400 interviews, all for free. Maybe you found a little value in those. If you did, maybe it's worth, the 1,000 hours or more that each of us have committed just recording to make all that available. And that doesn't include all the behind-the-scenes hours that it takes to make all this shit happen. Grimerica.ca/support. If you're finding some value in the show, send a little value back our way. Speaking of value, we got a fantastic chat here with Courtney Kittrell coming up. You got anything else?
That's about it. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. We love you guys. Stay warm wherever you're at. Enjoy the chat.
All right, we've got Courtney Kittrell with us tonight. She's the author of Unapologetically Favoured. She's been in the U.S. Navy for 20 years, working her way up through there, and it's a great book about, challenges, leadership, personal growth, all kinds of stuff. So, it's going to be a good chat. Thanks for joining us, Courtney.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was a good book. Like I said, it was very interesting. Got pretty emotional at times for me, but it was good. Yeah.
You're not alone. I've had that feedback a couple of times from different people. They cry. It's like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, totally. My favorite part was but we'll talk about it later, but was the chief cell getting up while you were getting that award. That was pretty, I had like shivers and it was like I was right there watching it happen. It's pretty cool.
Yes, it was emotional because it was so unexpected, just going through everything and thinking I'm gonna get an award from the senior person that was there, and he kind of brushed me off, and I was just like, well, dog, he doesn't want to give me an award. I'm like, why am I here? Yeah. But then one by one, people were popping up, and I was overwhelmed. I was really overwhelmed with that. I loved it.
That's great. So maybe we should start with why. I think just talking about why you wanted to write a book maybe would kind of summarize the thing, and then we can kind of get into some of the details a little bit about your journey.
Okay. So never in 1,000 years did I ever want to write a book. Nobody ever really wants to write a book unless that's something that you kind of go to school for. My book happened just having good friends. So I made a post in 2018 around Veterans Day saying, that people in the military, no matter what branch you're in, we're tired missing missing birthdays and graduations and weddings and funerals and, kids growing up and celebrating anniversaries with your spouses, whatever. We're tired. The political game that people kind of use us for, it gets very frustrating because people believe everything they hear and see about the military when they don't really understand what goes on behind closed doors or what goes on behind the uniform. So originally I wanted short stories from military service members, no matter what branch, about a personal struggle that they went through, that they endured, and how they were able to overcome that and still continue on serving with, and try not to let that affect them. And I also wanted to have short stories from the spouses, because a lot of the times the spouses get left behind. we forget that they go from a 2-parent household to a 1-parent household, having 3, 4, 5, and in some cases even 10 children. They're trying to maintain a schedule, maintain a career, maintain the home and the bills and everything. And sometimes the spouses get forgotten. So I made this post and I put it on Facebook. It was extra long. Didn't think anybody was going to really read this extra long post. You know, sometimes you see it, you're like, and I'm not reading this, and you scroll by. But people actually took time to read it, and they reached out to me and Messenger and just said, you know, you're saying everything that I'm going through, or you said everything that I'm feeling right now. I thought it was me. I thought I was the only one, and I was scared to speak on it. Thank you for speaking on it. Thank you for saying something. And I had a friend of mine, Missy Ferguson, she emailed me and she said, Courtney, you need to write a book. I said, girl, I am not writing a book. That is not my thing. No. But one by one, other people started saying the same thing. And I said, you know what? Maybe they see something in me I don't see in myself. I said, I'm going to do it. I reached out to the service members. Everybody had a story for me. Everybody wanted to email me something. It's been a year and some change. I have not received those stories yet. I'm still waiting. So I said, I'm going to write a story about myself and my personal struggles. I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to share myself with the world. And that is how my book actually came to be written.
Nice. Well, that's actually in the vein of what you do throughout, or what you learn to do throughout the book, is accept that kind of challenge instead of resisting it or whatever, and looking at, hey, is this an opportunity that I'm not realizing? And just the way you said that there, maybe there's something in me that I don't see. I think I read that struggle throughout the book.
Yes. And a lot of people go through that, but we're so quick to just say, no, we push back, we get defensive, we put up our defense mechanisms, and we don't realize that if more than one person comes to you and says, hey, I see this one particular thing in you. Right. I think you can do it. Trust them, because people do not invest in anything that they feel they will not get a return on. Yeah. So if you're getting that feedback, trust them. Nobody has anything to gain by leading you down the wrong path in life.
Yeah, that's a good point. How long did you guys have to spend away from home during those times? Like you mentioned with the spouse on. I have a friend that his wife is in the Canadian, what do we even call it up here? The Canadian Forces, yeah. Or I don't know if it's the department. Anyways, and she's away for months at a time, I think. Like he's alone with the kids for I think 3 to 6 months or something like that. Is that similar down there?
It is. It's very similar. And a lot of the times before an aircraft carrier goes on deployment, and it just varies depending on the mission. Right. Some branches end up, you could go somewhere overseas for a year. Sometimes you might get stationed in that one particular area for 4 years or 2 years, depending on, whatever your contract was for or whatever the mission is. But a typical deployment is 6 months, anywhere between 6 months to 9 months. I've seen one go as long as 12 months, a whole year on a ship. So it just varies. Commonly is between 6 and 9 months right now. So you're away, but that doesn't include like the workups. Because sometimes with the workups, you might be gone say like 1 month you're gone for 30 days. Then the next you come home for a couple of weeks, you're out again for 45 days. Because you're doing different trials and test runs in different areas of the world, doing different missions before you go on a deployment. So all of that added up, it'll be about a good 18 months that you might spend away from home.
Right. And then there is also time where you were working as like at the Great Lakes or whatever, where you're working in the state and close to your home. So it would just be like a normal commute, like a normal job sort of thing. Yes. Like right now, where I'm at, I actually work in Virginia Beach, but I live in Chesapeake. So it's like a 20-minute drive, give or take, traffic. So, but Great Lakes was the Chicago area. And then I was from North Carolina. So it was a long, it was about 12, 13-hour drive if I wanted to drive. About I see. Okay. Half-hour flight if I wanted to fly. So. Oh, so you're still you're away from home in that case. Yeah. Well, now I'm back in Chesapeake. Yeah, I'm 4 hours away from home now. So. Yeah.
Still 4 hours?
4 hours from North Carolina.
Yeah. Huh. So that's interesting. What are some of the other things that you learned in your journey? Like, there's the leadership aspect. I mean, there's the sort of the mental health PTSD kind of thing that you had to lead through, and that we could talk about. Maybe we can touch on some of that. I mean, I really liked some of the things you wrote about leadership. Really hit home, having to be a follower first, before a leader, or having to to be a follower, to be a leader, and not just letting that get to your ego. Like you really made a contrast between, leaders that just now that want to control everything and have that power compared to somebody that's going to empower you and listen to you and help you be the best you can be.
Yeah. So being a leader, it takes a lot of compassion. It takes empathy. In order to have people follow you as a leader, you have to be able to relate to those people that you are leading. If you can't place yourself in their shoes to understand what made them, and when I say what made them, how were they raised? What were their beliefs, their morals, their values? Did they grow up in a privileged household? Did they grow up in a broken home? Did they grow up in an abusive home, a divorced home, a single parent home? All those factors, all those different entities, mold a person into who they are as an adult, because we learn from our past. We learn from how we're raised. So if you can't, one, recognize that aspect of a person's life, you're not going to know the people that are following you. And if you don't know the people that are following you, you're not going to have the trust from them. You're not going to have the loyalty. You're not going to have the motivation, the drive from them to meet whatever mission it is that you're planning for them. You know what I mean? They're not going to follow you anywhere. Right. So ultimately you're not going to be a leader because you won't be leading anybody. Right. You'll just be another person out in the world lost.
To resent. So you'll be another person to resent. Yeah. So it must be a challenge in that situation in the Navy where you've got, like you said, people from all different backgrounds. So it's not like in a corporation where you're leading a bunch of people that have come through this corporate channel that are all maybe similar backgrounds or lifestyle or whatever, but you're having to lead this huge group of people that are all different.
Yes. And when I was in Great Lakes, I was like a drill sergeant in boot camp. So that was very, very eye-opening for me. I think that's where my leadership skills kind of really polished off, between understanding, and I learned what my purpose was, my purpose and my passion. So we don't ever think about walking down the street, walking by somebody, I wonder where that person is going or where they come from. I wonder what this person has been going through in their life. We don't think about that. So then as a drill sergeant, you're placed in front of anywhere between 60 to 105 young adults at one time. Wow. And they all come from different backgrounds. I mean, some people have never seen anybody outside of their race. Some people have never even, their parents died. Somebody else, was grandmother raised them. Somebody else's parents were in jail. I've had children that were homeless, sleeping in cars. So having an opportunity to come into the military, they understand the importance and significance, because they realize they can't afford to not become successful doing this because they have nothing to go home to. You put them all in a group and you're asking them to become best friends. Your challenge as a leader is to get them all on the same mindset, get them all on the same understanding that it doesn't matter who's sleeping with who. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter, what kind of household you come from. Because if this country goes to war, I need you to save my life. If this building goes up in flames, I need you to save my life. So you have to start from ground zero and practically raise these grown adults all over again, erasing any stigma, erasing any hatred, any fear, any confusion that they might have grew up with because they didn't know, because they were never placed in a situation that was outside of their comfort zone as far as being around different people from different backgrounds. So that being, working in boot camp is a real struggle, because you get people from all walks of life. And you really, truly understand that everybody is different in this world. We're all the same in that we all have a struggle, but we're all different because none of our struggles are the exact same.
Yeah.
Do you think that sort of, it's almost sort of paradoxical that you've got to sort of put your ego aside and put differences aside and get along with these people from all different walks of life that you may or may not see eye to eye with. And then at the same time, you're expected to once you do go overseas or into a war zone, you're expected to take all that compassion and everything and shelf that shit so you can go shoot some people. Now, do you think, where does that all tie into the suicide problem and the mental health problem and all that? How big of a role does that play? Because the PC culture, as that's coming up, I mean, that's got to be not making it any easier on the soldiers. Because, I mean, I think you're already accepting a certain level of damage. You know, we're willing to break people's brains to a certain extent so that they can go do something we're not willing to do.
And I'm glad you said that, because I don't know if it was in the news up there, but we actually had a situation last week where we had a sailor that went to Pearl Harbor and shot and killed some people at Pearl Harbor. Then we had another situation down in Florida where a foreign military trainee came on base and shot and killed some people as well. And just in October, I had 3 friends of mine, they were E7s, that all committed suicide.
Wow.
And at one point in my life, I contemplated suicide. I'm glad I'm still here. And I tell people, I'm passionate about this because when I wrote that post in November, I actually spoke on the fact that military members are different. Our mindset is different. We are, like you said, taught to put our compassion on the back burner, so to speak. Not in layman's terms, but eventually you get to the point where if something traumatic happens, that'll provide you a day of grieving. You can take a leave of absence. However, if you are at work, we still got a mission to complete. Wipe your face off. Let's go. We got to go. So after a while, that becomes muscle memory. So anything that in normal society, in civilian world, that would affect you and make you emotional, you learn how to say, you know what, let me wipe my tears. It's okay. And you keep going. Meanwhile, if you have a family, if you have a spouse, girlfriend, brother, whatever, significant other, they're looking at you like, why are you not emotional? Oh my God, you're so cold-hearted. You don't understand. You don't love me. You don't care. And it's like, no, we don't have time for this. Stop crying. Pick up the pieces. Let's go. And we're trained like that. And that's our mental capacity. So we don't know how to stop, slow down, and show emotion. We don't know how to stop, slow down, and try to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes unless you're already a compassionate, empathetic person. And that is our struggle. So with that comes, in a leader aspect, we suppress our emotions so much to include the stress levels that we have in our life. Because you got to think about it, right? Leadership sometimes in my where I'm at in my career is middle management. So you have the pressures of your leaders up top coming down saying, hey, you to follow, I'm setting X, Y, and Z policy. Make sure everybody is adhering to these policies. Meanwhile, you're enforcing these policies down and you're tracking everybody beneath you, all your junior personnel trying to lead them. You're stuck in the middle between a rock and a hard place. So you're pressured by both sides. Then you go home, you got pressures at home as well. Whether, you're scared because you might be overweight, whether you're about to go through a divorce, a custody battle, you're behind on your bills, your family members are sick, whatever the case may be, and we come to work, we don't speak about it. Because if you come to work, you're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be able to handle everything. The one time you show emotion or the one time, you're sad and now you look weak. And who wants to have a weak leader? Nobody. So we don't say anything. If you have a weak leader, maybe you don't need this position anymore. I need to replace you with somebody a little bit stronger so you don't want to lose your job, so you don't say anything. And we keep suppressing to the point that the cup overflows and we figure we can't handle it anymore because it becomes too much and we ultimately commit suicide. And a lot of the times with the suicide, people say, oh, it's the chain of command, it's the leadership, it's the job. No, it's a lot of personal battles that people have that they're not speaking about or asking for help for because they don't want to be shamed, judged, criticized, or talked about. So we have to get to a point where it's okay, no matter what. To a certain point, there will be no repercussions if you do say, hey, raise my hand, I need to take a knee because I'm stressed, I'm tired, I need to step back for a second, get myself together.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
We could use that as a culture.
Let
alone in the military. It just seems like it's just like cramming all the crazy demands.
But it seems like it's exaggerated. In the
military, that's what I'm saying. It's like fucking just hyper exaggerating and already increasing cultural problem.
you help people through that personally. But is there something that you guys have, not a policy necessarily, but is there something that you do as a organization to help people through that?
Yes. So the military they have wonderful resources. They're free. We have doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists. We have everything available to us. The issue is it's not enough. Right. There's not enough. So the backlog becomes ginormous, waiting for an appointment, trying to get an appointment. on top of that, when you are that backlogged, and I'm setting myself aside from the military, now I'm putting on my civilian thought process here. If I'm a civilian, this is coming from Courtney Kittrell, my opinion. If I'm a civilian and I am backlogged with, say, I got 20 appointments in a month, I don't know how many to really have. I'm just guesstimating. If I'm becoming way down, I'm just trying to get you in and get you out. Get you in and get you out. Get you in and get you out.
Right.
I'm not really paying attention to what you're really what's going on in your life. I'm not really putting myself in your shoes to understand where you're coming from. And again, if you can't relate to what I'm saying, all you're gonna do is give me some medication and say, okay, here's your medicine. Let it put you to sleep at night to stop making you think, so your mind to relax and go on about your life. But that's not helping me with my problem. You're putting a Band-Aid over it and it's not working, and it's sad. But we have a lot of resources, suicide hotlines, counseling sessions. We have a lot of things. But again, it's a personal choice if somebody really wants to go and get that help. And a lot of times they're not, because of the shame and being talked about and all that stuff. So they just, I don't want to burden nobody. Let me keep it to myself. You know what? I'm just going to take myself out. I can't do it no more.
So it seems like a cultural challenge in there, that to keep everything bottled in or whatever. Is there anything you do personally with your groups, or that other people do to sort of subtly and stealthily allow people to open up?
Well, I know when I see people at work and they can't stand me when I do this, I'm like mom at work.
Yeah.
So if I see somebody walking through the hallways and I know they're not themselves, I pay attention to people. And I have this thing where it's like, I say, I can feel your energy. I can feel when you're off. I know when something's wrong. Yeah. And so I will literally like come up to somebody and just go, what's wrong with you? And they'll look at me and they're like, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you're not. And they're like, oh my God, how do you know? And so I'll pull them aside and what's going on? Are you good? And I'll talk to them. And if they don't want to open up, I don't push. Because a lot of times when you're pushing people to open up, you're pushing them closed.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, hey, you know what? Don't think that you're the only one that has been through anything in life. And I'll share a story with them. If it relates to whatever they're going through or what I think they might be going through, I'll share a story of my own with them to let them know that I'm transparent. I have nothing to hide. We're all human, and it's not just you going through things. We all have situations.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to them for myself. If they need to take a day off, okay, let me know you need a personal day. I'd rather you take a personal day than come to work and do something crazy.
Yeah,
if they need a day off, I'll give them a day off too. So
what do you attribute that to? Intuition? Like it does seem a little supernatural the way you talk about one story in your book where you sense something in somebody and you were right.
Yes. Yeah. And I just, and that, can I share the story?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So April of this year, well, actually the whole situation.
That was quite recent, right? Yeah.
It was April. It was just this year, a couple of months back.
Wow.
And the situation really began in February of this year, dealing with a young man. He was infatuated with a young girl at work, and I'm the only female E7 or E7 above there. So they normally come to me for all the female issues, and they asked me for my help with the situation. So I talked to the female, and she told me that the guy was pretty much infatuated with her. She didn't want nothing to do with him. He didn't understand the word no, whatever the case may be. So I actually had a counseling session with this young man, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with him. It was myself and two other people that were in leadership roles, and they were speaking to him. And it was my first time really talking to him, but it was just something about him. I don't know if it was his body language, if it was his attitude, but he really didn't have an attitude. He was a very quiet, soft-spoken young man. But when they stopped to get my input, the only thing I could tell him was, it's something about you that I don't like. I don't like you. I said, it's nothing personal. I don't know why. I said, but there is something about you that you have going on and you have not dealt with, that you have brought with you to the military. And he only been in for maybe a year, but it was just something about this guy that just, it was off. He was off. His vibe was off with me. And I let it be known. So the young man, he started crying and he said, well, I want to speak to my chief. His chief, who was in the room, said, I've offered you to come and speak to me, but you haven't. Okay, we'll talk. So I told his chief, I said, Cole, you need to talk to him. I said, I don't know what's wrong with this guy. Talk to him, follow up, figure out what's going on with him. Just help him. He needs help. To this day, don't know what was bothering him. I never went back to ask him. I just knew something was wrong with him. So fast forward, he's still pursuing this young lady. We tried to get him out of the command so that we were in, sent him away temporarily while we tried to figure out how to handle the situation. While that was going on, he got a driving under the influence driving while intoxicated ticket. He got, it was like a while, or I forgot what it is, like when they just start getting out of hand, when they get drunk and just crazy.
Disorderly. Yeah.
There you go. Drunk and disorderly conduct. So he had that. He had a couple of things that was stacked up on him, and to him, nothing was his fault. It was always somebody else's fault. It was the young female's fault, and it was like, this guy, something's wrong with him. So we give him a chance. And ultimately it came down to on Friday, April the 5th, driving into work, I received a phone call from one of the sailors at work. She was frantic and she said, "We have an active shooter. Whatever you do not pull into the parking lot." And I was like, what are you talking about, active shooter? Who's going to come on a military installation and just start shooting up the place? Like, nobody does that. You sure it wasn't a backfire from a car? No, it was the same guy that we did have problems with before. And my first reaction, the only reaction I had, I said, where is the young lady that he was with? And she said, "I don't know. I saw her on the ground." And that's all she could tell me. And my heart sunk. I think I stopped breathing. I called my wife at work. She's trying to calm me down. By this time, my phone is just lighting up with just phone calls from everybody, including all the way out in California. What's going on? What's going on? The young man decided that morning, he had had enough. We were getting ready to process him out of the Navy. So he came to work that morning. He waited for this young girl to pull up to work in her car. He got in her car with the gun. She pushed her in the passenger seat. She looked down and she saw it. She had enough sense to say, "Oh my God, what in the world?" Saw the door was unlocked and she jumped out of the car. When she did that, he jumped out as well, chased her through the parking lot. And speaking to her, she said, "I didn't want to go through the gate to come into work because if I did, he probably would have shot and killed somebody." She said, "I just took one. I didn't want him to hurt nobody else.
Wow.
I'd just rather be the one to get shot." And he shot her 3 times. The only reason
Three
why
times.
she
Wow.
3 times. The only reason why she survived was because he put a tourniquet on her leg and told her, "I don't want to kill you. I just want to make you feel the pain that you have caused me." So by the time military police show up, base police show up, he's shooting his weapon up in the air. They shot and killed him point blank range in the head. Now you have a young 27-year-old male that's deceased over something so trivial. And now the parents are going to want to know, the family's going to want to know what happened. Why did my child die? And we don't have the answers. We don't know. We have no idea why. And the young lady, she is doing wonderful today. She is back at work. She makes light of the situation, saying she's Kevlar tough, she makes a lot of, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, you're so funny. But, I don't know if that's just a cover up from what she's going through or if she is truly, truly okay. It's only time will tell.
Yeah.
But that guy, it broke me, and being in a leadership position, that was the lowest I ever felt, because that female, I had just had a one-on-one conversation with her the week prior, and my exact words to her were, "Your military is your family. Your military family is your family away from family. My job is to protect you when your family is not around. So if something happens, you need to let me know so we can stop it in advance." And she looked at me and said, "Senior Chief, I will be okay. He does not scare me." And I said, "Okay."
Wow.
And then the following week, he shot her. And it took a long time. I'm just now writing this book, helped me kind of get through it, thinking about it. But it caused a lot of emotional stress with me. And myself, I've been going to mental health because that was just, it weighed me down. I'm doing a lot better now, but it was a real traumatic situation for me dealing with that.
Yeah. Wow. So do you want to switch gears a little bit to more of the LGBTQ area
Sure.
there? Because how was that going through the Navy, as a lesbian? How was it did you see a change in how that was handled through the last 20 years, that kind of stuff? How was the don't ask, don't tell? Was that difficult or was it helpful? Some of those
in the
questions.
beginning, it was terrible because I was like 20 nothing years old, and I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, I think I'm gay, but am I really gay?
Oh, right. Because at the time, at the time you weren't really, right.
Exactly. And I didn't know who to talk to. I couldn't trust anybody because don't ask, don't tell. I would have been put out the military if anybody would have found out. And you don't know who to trust with your most secret. So I struggled with that. So I did what I thought the world wanted me to do. I got married to a guy and, tried to live that normal American life or whatever. And it was like, no, I was not happy. And it was, in the beginning, it was a struggle. It was really a struggle to be that young and have no direction and nobody to, guide me. And I'm trying to figure this out by myself. I was sinking. I felt like I was sinking so fast. And 5 years I spent with this one guy, and I wasted his time. I wasted his life. That was 5 years. He could have been with somebody that was truly in love with him. But, me being selfish, I didn't know how to come out and live in my truth or be who I truly was. And it's terrible. I tell people, don't do that, because you don't know the domino effect that hiding who you truly are has on people and their lives and, what's meant for you. But in the military, it's funny. So 2011, when they finally just kind of got rid of the band, everybody was like, watching what's going to happen next. Oh my God, are they going to be like falling out of the sky? Are they going to come out of the bushes? And people were paranoid, but nothing changed because we'd been here the whole entire time. Nothing changed. Now, the only thing that changed is that when I had a conversation with somebody, I didn't have to say, oh, my roommate. Oh, my best friend.
Right.
Oh, my friend who's a girl, but it was my girlfriend. I didn't have to pitter patter around the bush. I could just be like, hey, my girlfriend, or hey, my wife.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that really changed. But a lot of the older generation leaders were the ones that were terrified because they didn't realize that we don't care. It's them that worry about things that they shouldn't worry about. Because again, I always go back to, if something happens and I'm in a war, I need you to save my life. I'm not going to ask you who you slept with last night. I don't give a damn. Save my life so I can go back home.
When did that change? Don't ask, don't tell?
2011.
2011. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I always thought it was like a throwback to the days when it was only dudes in the military, and they figured they could keep out the inter-soldier mingling that way.
Well, you know what? We have submarines that were all males, so.
Yeah, that's the way I always thought of it. Is that they figured, if they did it that way, then they wouldn't have anybody sleeping with each other out on the war thing.
It don't matter. When we pull in a port, people will find ways. And
I imagine.
100 men go down and 50 couples come up. I don't know why they say it's so terrible. Well, even on the carriers, they will find a way. I mean, these kids are genius. They will find a way to get their needs met, however it may be. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's not that serious. But it does happen regardless. So
yeah. Yeah,
we
seems
take
like
all that stuff a little too seriously,
yeah. Well, it seems like that's the place where merit is really what is going to drive, promotion and leadership opportunities and all that. I mean, like you said, your people are relying on you, so that kind of stuff must get pushed aside, hopefully, to.
Exactly. And I always preach that. Even so, last year they asked me to be the guest speaker for my base for, we celebrate June is our LGBTQ XYZ alphabet month. And they asked me to be the guest speaker. And I put that in my speech. I said, we need to stop worrying about what other people are always doing. Because that's what throws us off. We cannot be on top of our game, on top of, success in our life, because we're so focused and we give our energy to things that don't matter to us. And I always tell people, you cursed a minute ago. Somebody used this language, forgive me. But I always tell people, what somebody else eats does not make you shit. So why are you always consumed with what they have going on? And, and I tell you, when you're in the swim lane and you're swimming and you are not focused on what lies ahead of you, the wall that you have to touch to turn around and come back to the finish line, because if you're not paying attention to what you have going on in your life and you're focused on the person that's next to you, you're going to slow down and everybody around you is going to win and you're trying to figure out why. Stop worrying about other people. Focus on you. Do what you have to do for you. That's all life is. But we spend too much time on the negative, too much energy on stuff that doesn't matter instead of worrying about the things that do matter and things that will make us successful in life.
Yep. Yeah, I
Judging
remember
other
you
people,
wrapped that up at the end of your book nicely with that. It was great.
It's like we're stuck in this weird spot where we got to worry about what they're eating because that's the only way we can make sure that we're doing the right thing. We're doing the same thing everybody else is.
I don't want to do what everybody else is doing.
No, me neither.
Right things.
There was some other.
That's kind of why I went to the military. So I go back home and I'm like, everybody's doing the same thing. I'm glad I got out of that situation.
There was some other great lessons, like leading or, opportunities through failure, I think, which were a really important part for me reading your book, like using failures and not letting that get you down, but coming through it. Maybe you can touch on that a little bit and using that as an opportunity. I mean, that seemed like a pretty important part of your journey.
Yes. So I tell people that how you handle failure, how you handle a stressful situation, a lot of the times defines your character, so to speak. You could either let it drag you down and prove to people, what a lot of people will probably say, oh, we knew you weren't built for this. You're not good at this. Oh, you're just what I thought you were going to be, nothing, whatever. Or you can take that, use it as a lesson and a stepping stone to get ahead. So when I was in Great Lakes and I failed my physical fitness test, that set me back because I was going, oh my goodness, I'd have been like a perfect 4.0 this whole entire time. This one hiccup, and this could not be real. But I couldn't blame nobody but myself. I'm feeding my face, like nobody's force feeding me, it's me. So I had to be like, okay, Courtney, you get your crap together. And it was more of a self-disappointment than anything else that kind of that saddened me. I was disappointed in myself. How did I get myself to this point? And having a friend, a mentor who told me, pull your head out your ass, stop crying. Okay, I'm gonna give you this one day to figure it out, get out your system. But tomorrow I need you to start grinding. I need you to get back out here and lead these sailors. I need you to be the leader that you're supposed to be. I need you to do what you need to do. Don't let nobody see you like this, because if you show them that you're weak, all they're going to do is keep poking at your weak spots. You got this. You can do it. And I was like, okay, I got it. I can do it. So I come back to work and I just remember that, you know what? It is what it was. I can't fix it. I just got to do better. And that's what I did. I put my head down and I just kept moving forward. Anything they needed me to do, I did it. I'd go home and cry and drink, but I come to work, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And it led me to being selected to go to a higher leadership position. It led me to be selected to go to a leadership school. I was able to, lead a whole. So when you become a chief or E7 in the Navy, I think we're the only branch of service that does a 6-week indoctrination course for chiefs. It's 6 weeks. It's crazy. And you have people that are selected to lead that 6-week course. And I was one of the ones that got selected to lead this course for I think it might have been 70 some chief selects,
wow.
70 some who were selected to become chiefs, and all because I didn't let that one situation weigh me down. I got it. I was resilient. I said, you know what do I need to do to bounce back? And that's what I did. I had to bounce back. You can't let it weigh you down. And I was able to adapt and overcome from that.
So how do you walk that line? Because a lot of people would go into that and they can take that personal disappointment and sort of transfer that into a personal shame, and now they're not good enough, and now they're not loving themselves. Yeah,
or blaming other people.
Most of the time that'll transition into shame or blame. My fucking girlfriend's cooking me these fucking cheesy dogs, and that's her fault, or it's my fault, and I'm shaming myself for that, and that's not helping me either, because you need that self-love to really, get the best out of yourself, in my opinion.
You have to be okay with failure. And I think a lot of the times, right now, we don't teach that failure is okay.
Yeah.
We don't teach that, you can come back after you fall. I tell people it's only a failure when you fall and refuse to get back up. If you get back up, it was a lesson learned and you moved on. It's not a failure. But we don't teach that failure is okay. We're handing out trophies to the entire softball team. We're handing out trophies to all the peewee football kids. No, if you fall, it's okay. Get up, brush it off, come back harder, come back stronger. But you have to kind of be, in my opinion, already be a strong-minded person to understand that. or have strong, influential friends surrounding a village, a family, something that could instill that in you. Because I think we all have a little bit of it in us, but if nobody is around us to say, yes, you can still do it, then it's kind of like, well, man, maybe I can't do it because nobody's giving me that extra push. So I was lucky to have people to give me that extra push to say, yeah, you're right. Let me get off my ass and go out here and do what the hell I'm supposed to be doing instead of sitting at home feeling sorry for myself. Because I had to accept the fact that it was my fault. If you don't ever accept the fact it's your fault, nobody made you, you woke up consciously every day and made decisions in your life to do whatever it was that made you fail, then you're never going to be that person to say, okay, I got to get myself together. You will blame everybody else for your downfall.
That's a good way to look at it, is looking at it as a fault instead of a limitation.
Yes, it is not a limitation.
Yeah, it's just a step you got to get over. You got to take another run at it, because it's like all the successful people have failed at a bunch of shit over and over. No one just nails it the first time.
Never,
some people, Graham nails it the first time sometimes.
Yeah.
At ball hockey, he nails it every time.
But you don't, like people think success happens overnight. They think that, like you said, people who are successful, they never have a mistake. Yeah, they do. Everybody's human. Everybody's going to have a mistake, a hiccup at least one time. It's just how you're dealing with it. You don't have to share it with the world. You recognize it, fix it, and move on. You don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to share it on social media to all your friends and everybody in your business. Learn the lesson that is in that, if there is one in it. Try to find out the lesson in it and just pick up the pieces and keep moving. There's no time for shame. Life is not a practice. This is the real game. You only get one. So every day you spend sulking, every day you spend in the bed, every day you spend being depressed, it's moments that you are losing when you can be better in yourself that you're not going to get. And I had to realize that.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, yeah, you could graduate high school and get a nice little job managing the local McDonald's, and you might never fail in your life. You just retire at McDonald's.
There you go. Just keep moving up the chain and go to the corporate ladder, I guess.
So can you explain the title and how you came to that and what that means at a deeper level, that Unapologetically Favored?
Yeah, so Unapologetically Favored, again, I was at boot camp. Boot camp just changed my life. So when I was at boot camp, I had a leader he was a good guy. I love this guy to death, still love him to this day. And people have two different hats. You always have your work hat, then you have your home hat. So as a leader, he was good, but it was just this one particular moment that stuck out with me, where we had a African-American female who was a leader as well in the Navy. And to the African-American females, to see her in this position, we were kind of enamored. We were like, oh, wow, look at you doing. You better do that, girl, So we kind of clung to her, or we were just amazed by her accomplishments. So she attracted a lot of attention. And she came down one day. I'm lucky to be friends with her to this day. I'm lucky to be, a friend of hers. And she came down and did a visit. I had a potluck at my house where a lot of my friends came over. We had girls' night, wine, food, you name it. We got tipsy. We had music. We enjoyed our night. It was a girls' night. So she decided to post pictures on Facebook. I don't post everything on Facebook because I don't think everything should be shared with the world like that. But because of who she was, she posted it on Facebook and everybody saw it. I get to work and the leader, he was upset about it. I forgot something about it. He was upset about it. But instead of saying something to us about it, he kind of had a meltdown, so to speak, in one of our meetings. And it bothered me. So I confronted him and I said, I don't understand what the problem was. I don't understand why you're upset, why you never said anything to me. And he said, how it made me feel to see a picture with all my chiefs, with my boss. And I'm like, well, she's a friend of mine. I would never do anything to be disloyal to you. I would never air dirty laundry out. I would never do anything, to disrespect you. That's not me. But I guess it bothered him. I don't know if it was an ego thing, a leadership thing. Don't know, whatever. So that kind of made our working relationship a little awkward because I felt like now he was looking at me in a different light. Now he was judging me because he was thinking that something happened that didn't happen. And I was uncomfortable. It might have just been me being insecure, but it bothered me. So I was getting ready to leave the command and come back down to Virginia. And there was a going away dinner, a lunch that we were supposed to be having. And they wanted me to come to get a gift, a going away gift. I refused. I didn't want to go. Two of my friends kept trying to entice me to go. I said, I don't want to go because I didn't want him to get up and have words to say about me if he was really not being genuine. I'd rather it just not happen. So when we went and something happened, his phone rings, he had to walk out. And that's what led up to the part that you like, where he walked out and nobody had anything to say originally. Then everybody one by one started popping up saying good things about me. And it made me feel, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know. It just overwhelmed me. It made me feel better. I was like, you know what? When a negative energy is taken out of your life, positive energy can flow in. And that's how the situation was. So before we went to the luncheon, there was a chaplain that worked at our church on the base. And my friend said, you know, I want to share with the chaplain your story. Do you mind? And I said, no, I don't mind. So they told him the story and he took off his glasses and I said, oh my goodness, he's about to preach a sermon to me. I'm not ready. So he takes his glasses off and he said, have you ever heard the story about Ruth? And I said, well, I went to church, but I didn't go to church that much. So I'm going to go with no. So he told me the story about Ruth. And at the end, he said, favor is not fair and favor is unapologetic. So are you mad because throughout your life you have been favored? Or are you mad because this guy who has, made the situation awkward will not apologize for his behavior? And I said, you know what? As I started thinking about my life and how people were, asking me to do things I didn't want to do. They were pushing me beyond my beliefs. They were pushing me past my potential. They were putting me in positions to succeed and to win. I'm not going to apologize for that because people saw something in me where they were like, you know what, if I invest in you, I know you're going to make it. I'm not going to apologize for the friends that I have made along the way. I'm not going to apologize for being able to, come back after a minor setback. I'm not going to apologize for it. And I'm like, yes, you know what? I am favored. Everybody is favored in their own way. If you are alive and well and breathing, you have a job, if you're just alive, you're favored already. So everybody is favored. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to be unapologetically favored. And that is how my book came about.
Oh, I got
it. Story long.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. That's awesome.
So how long have you been in the Navy then?
It has been 20 years and 4 months.
Have you seen any, Navy gets space, right? Any UFOs yet? USOs?
Oh,
any alien stories?
I've seen some things. There are a couple of videos out there that are unclassified that are floating around where our pilots have actually seen things in the air. And a lot of times they can't really speak on it because it's like classified information right now. But
yeah.
There are some videos out there.
Is there if you did see something, would you feel comfortable reporting it to your officers?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to know, hey, is this the first time? And y'all seen this and didn't tell us? Why? I want to know what's out there.
Yeah,
I have a thing for growing up, my brother had a thing for aliens, and it was to the point he scared himself.
Oh. And
I would wake up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and he will be in my bedroom, sleep on the floor. And I'm like, Michael, what are you doing? I think I've seen one. It was oh my goodness, he was a mess.
That's awesome.
So that you wouldn't feel worried at all. The Navy's got a pretty open policy on reporting unidentified flying objects. It's not like you're the crazy one now.
I don't, because I've actually asked my pilots, have you seen things up there? And they've told me, oh yeah, they've seen things up there, but they can't speak on it. But they've seen things,
right?
So I know it's not just me. I wouldn't feel crazy because if that's the case, all of us are crazy.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, that's a good question because we've never really talked to anybody in the Navy. I don't think so.
If I have any other Navy questions.
Yeah.
Air Force and Navy, you got to think about it. They're flying all day long.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's good that some of that's coming out and it's changed. That's part of the culture that's changing too. Is people are they're allowed to report that stuff now. It seemed like 10, 20 years ago it was kind of frowned upon. So or they just wouldn't be allowed to.
Because people are scared of the unknown. They're scared. So you don't want to mention it because you don't know. But it's now. Because people are starting to come out one by one saying, I've seen and I've experienced. Yeah. They're like, okay, maybe it's not just me. I'm not scared. It's common. Okay. Now they're comfortable with reporting it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So you've been at this over a couple decades. How was the path? Any regrets? Is there anything you did differently if you could start it all over?
I would not change anything. Because if I alter anything, I might not be here talking to y'all right now. So I would keep all the heartache. I would keep the failure. I would keep the setbacks. I would keep the stress, the mental anxiety. I would keep everything the exact same way it is because I would not want to change that outcome. And I made a post one day on my Facebook page, Unapologetically Favoured, that said, be careful sometimes what you ask for because you will really get it. But you might not understand the path that you're going to have to go on in order to get whatever it was that you asked for. You might not understand, like, why all of a sudden my house burned down. Well, remember you asked for a brand new house that one time? You might have had to lose everything, but you're going to get a brand new house or a car or a better job. You might have went unemployed for 6 months to a year, but that was because you were about to get this job that you were asking for. So I was like, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to be a positive influence in people's lives. And I had to go through things in order to have a story to share with other people, to influence them and let them know that you too can make it to where I'm at. You too can get over the hump that's placed in front of you in life.
Awesome. That's great. The one other part I wanted to hear you talk about was being able to let go of the negative aspects or negative people in your life. There's a reason why they're there, but at some point it's good to surround yourself by the positive people that are,
It is. Yeah. Negative energy begets negative energy. Even like when you go to work and you walk in an office or you're in an office and your manager, your boss, a leader, a coworker comes in and they have an attitude. All of a sudden you have an attitude and you don't even know why. They just mess up your whole vibe. They mess up your day. And you're like, why am I so angry? You don't know why. If somebody comes in a positive, I'm early in the morning, I'm cheery because I feel like that's how if you start your day that way,
me too.
You're a little bit more relaxed. Your day seems to go a little bit better. Turn the music up. Let's have fun. It might be 5 o'clock in the morning, but we're going to make it through. It's going to be a good day. That vibe, that energy sets the course. So whatever you surround yourself with, that's how you're going to form. That's how you're going to mold. And I can't do negative energy. I will cut it off so quick because it's not healthy. You spend so much time having mental anguish over things, again, that don't matter. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, why are you spending 5 minutes on it? Let it go. If it's not going to add to your life, why are you wasting a day worrying about it? Let it go. We have to understand that, negativity is not a good thing. And I forgot what the saying was. It was like, oh my goodness, I can't even think of it right now. But just, the negative, I can't. I can't. I learned that coming up, and after I started surrounding myself with positive people, positive influences, I realized positive things were happening in my life. Right. But if you keep negative stuff in your life, you're going to draw that negative energy every time.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It's a choice. It's a bigger choice than people think. And that's not 100% of the time. I always get shit. I was like, oh yeah, just positive and everything's fine. No, it's not like that. But I'm still saying that 95% of that shit is bullshit. Right. And there's tragedy. There's real tragedy in life. 5% of that shit is tragedy and it happens to people and it sucks. But the other 95%, because that guy cut you off or because you're a couple bucks short of this or, most of the time you can slough that off and still keep smiling. It's like this guy in the morning, you try and get him to watch a funny video, but he's got stuff to do.
That's so funny. But I cannot do, misery loves company. That was the saying I was trying to think of. It's like misery loves company. Drama queens create drama. I cannot. Whew,
yeah, you get sucked in though. It's hard. You get sucked in sometimes.
I've been in a drama for a while.
I can't do reality TV shows. It drives me nuts. And the way that people are addicted to this stuff, I'm like, how do you? My wife loves court TV drama. She loves watching court TV. And I'm like, what? It's so terrible.
Oh, you got to cancel the cable, Courtney. You got to cancel that cable.
Yes.
Cancel that cable. That's the number one piece of advice I have for everyone. Cancel your cable and the world will start to be a safer place, a nicer place.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I feel the same way.
Well, we're about, I guess we about wrap it up there. Are you on the social medias anywhere? You mentioned the Facebook page a couple times. Do you want to give that out again, or the Twitter and the website URL? It'll all be in the show notes, but most of the people don't check the show notes.
Yes, so you can follow me on my webpage, unapologeticallyfavored.com. You can purchase my book on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble's, Books A Million. Hell, just Google Unapologetically Favoured and everything in the world will pop up.
Awesome.
Promise.
Well, it's a good book. I really enjoyed it. And thanks for doing that. And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. Good luck. I love the mission. I like it. I wish you the best of luck, and we'll send you some good vibes for your journey.
I appreciate it. It was fun hanging out with y'all. Got to do it again.
Thanks.
Have a good night, Courtney.
Bye.
Bye.
Now is a chat. Courtney Kittrell, what'd you think, buddy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very well spoken. I could tell she was going to be because of the book, because all the working her way up in these leadership positions. I could tell that and it wasn't in an egoic way, but the feedback she was getting from her peers and her supervisors, you could tell she was just a great speaker and a good leader.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff in there that could apply to business or to even like, what was I going to say about the heterosexual couples even? Like the lessons she learned for not being her authentic self in that relationship. It could apply to anybody who's in a relationship.
Oh, the authentic self thing is huge.
Yeah.
You're not doing yourself any favors by not being your authentic self in a relationship.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Courtney for coming on the show. Little step out of the norm, but we enjoyed it. It was a nice one. Of course, big thanks to Julie over at Pleasantly Surprised Publishing or whatever it is. It'll be in the show notes.
Yeah.
She always sends us the authors in the books. We appreciate that. Support the show, Grimerica.ca/support. We still don't do commercials or corporate overlord bullshit. We just rely on the couple of bucks that a few of you guys find it in your kind hearts to send us. So if you can, Grimerica.ca/support. Head over this week, sign up for a monthly, do a one-time donation. It's cold. Christmas is coming. We just bought a new computer, bunch of stuff we can't afford. Grimerica.ca/support. Help us get back in the black. What else? Do all the stuff in the show notes. Review the show. Share the show. Tell your friends about this motherfucker.
Email Graham.
Spam Graham. Sign people up for the newsletter. Be kind to each other. Love one another. Spread some good vibes. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
I'm walking gingerly through the rat race. Take a look at the big old smile on my face. Kicking around down by the pool of narcissists. The people are many, they preen themselves, oh how they navel gaze. Somewhere over that hill, the gloomy skies cease to exist. I'm climbing that hill, I pass by and pity the poor Sisyphus. I go into hyperdrive, turn into a beam of light. I'm strolling down a static electric avenue. The people are predictable, they say good morning, how do you do? When out of nowhere, a randomly pure angel in the crosswalk bumps into me. And in doing so, knocks all the evil and all the wind out of me. And it's black as tar, ugly as ever, and of no apology. This angelic mama sings heavenly of the truest theology. Together we're a seraphim dream, forever young with no chronology. 1,000 years from now we'll be written into ancient mythology. We go into hyperdrive, turn into a beam of light. Can you tell me about the view up there? It's sparkling remarkably, the air is crystal clear. Well, please won't you tell me what it takes to transcend this place? A little bit of heart and a whole lot of soul. Take a look at the big old smile on my face. As my angel says, dance with me and your life will never, ever, ever be dull. I go into hyperdrive, turn into a beam of light. 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 Turn into into a beam of light. Turn into a beam of light.